So, my dear Gemini, well, the Earth has continued its path, and now we have behind the Sun Capricorn, and Capricorn is, of course, giving the light to your moon, which you had last time a full moon, and the full moon was getting the light from Sagittarius Sun, right? And so you were in the limelight, you were showing yourself off, and now we can see that that social status that you have achieved is hopefully not attaching you, hopefully not making you like cling to certain things, because here she is clinging to the dark, but here the dark is masculine. And it's very interesting, right? She really played with this. It's like, why is always the feminine the dark, right? Here as well, it's the darkest month. And so we kind of give it quite a stigma, and we gotta change that. So now here we see how when we get attached, right, we cut a rose off and put it in a vase, and we kind of like hold it prisoner, right? Hold it in that kind of environment, right? And that's the environment we don't really want. Now, the Sagittarius is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn here brings us, of course, the finger, the lectures, and I would say dance up into whatever you want to achieve, right? So I choose Natarajasana as a yoga pose. And so remember, right, that now Saturn, which is also connected with the world card. So we're going to look this month into the world. We're going to look as a special, right, what is the world really telling us? And so here we have this moment of you recognizing maybe you don't want to touch yourself. You want in your yoga pose to be completely free, because you're ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is, of course, the messenger, is the communication, and you are the third house of communication, right, and of talking and information or interaction, right? You like to interact. That's your kind of like forte. So these two right now, right, it's just a very special moment per year. But if we include the other zodiac signs, then we have this only once in our lifetime, this moment, right? This moment will never come back, right? And so let's make use of it. Now here in this deck, you are the Knight of Swords. You see how you're running away, running towards your motorcycle. You're very fast. So if your birthday is between May 10th and June 9th, then this is your court card, right? And if your birthday is before or after, you can always look in my description. I have listed all the court cards and their dates, all the cards that I'm using on their position, because it's like a cycle, right? I'm including the last cycle here where you had your full moon, and it's kind of like letting you know, I'm not just going to take the light away, is letting you know that, yeah, 6 times 6, this full moon brings healing and trust for true joy. And so have a look at this, because it's important, right? Everything is cyclical. I am including the last reading. I don't want to just be like, oh, just now, this moment. It's kind of like I like to include back then the energy, right? Because it's like it's now a new cycle that can begin in this month. Now, like I said, Capricorn is connected with Saturn, and Saturn is also ruling the world. And so we're going to look at the world, what the world wants to tell you. And I have here the Muse Tarot, and we're going to see what's talking. Always a moment of what's going to happen, right? I do most of the cards because otherwise it just takes too long to do all of them in front of the camera, but I do always the special per month. in front of the camera, so I never know what's gonna come up here. Let's see what the muse wants to tell you, right? What the world wants you to become. And we get the Nine of Inspiration. Look at that. So the Nine of Inspiration is actually connected with the constellation Moon in Sagittarius. And you had Sagittarius Sun giving you the light for your full moon. And so the 21 plus the 9 is a 30. And the 30 is, in a way, you are the third house, right, of communication and interaction. You are very communicative. And so the 3 is also the Empress. The Empress is teaching you to really be this flamboyant, energetic personality, right? And so here the world is saying, show yourself, show what you're made of, show that you can go through difficulties, because the 9 of Wands is always that, like, I'm working a lot, I'm doing a lot, and I feel almost suppressed, but here you are rising and you are like, okay, no, I'm not suppressed. I am like the third house of communication and I'm putting that out there, right? So the world is letting you know, right? Or Saturn is letting you know, show yourself, even though it's difficult, right? Even though it was difficult to get there, it was a lot of work to get there, but you're there. Now show yourself. So we're reading to the left, right? Because now we're going to your new moon. You had your full moon, and now we're going to the new moon. And so everything is going to the left, going deep within. Left is the soul path, and right is the human path, is showing who you can become. And so on the position of the Fool, that foolish idea that I let myself drop into the ocean of possibilities, comes the King of Cups, which is a Scorpio. Big emotions that you're feeling right now coming to you, and he's of course the 8th zodiac sign, the 8th house of reincarnation. So it's almost like you want to begin completely new, and you are beginning something completely new, because you are now through Uranus, which is connected with the Fool, making that change, making that new start. And it's almost like saying, yes, it's an emotional start. I felt that 6 times 6, this full moon brings healing and trust for true joy. And so you are still facing the right, because Scorpio is facing the right, it's not facing the left. But I'm going to put the next card to the left and not here. And so behind Scorpio comes the owl, right? The owl is the number 39. And the 39 plus the 1 of the magician, it's a 40. The 4 and the 0. And so you recognize here quite a powerful moment, because the owl is actually one of the most powerful birds. He can fly, or she can fly, right? Like no one hears when she sets to fly. She has that wingspan and she can glide, and so the mouse cannot hear that the bird is right above her and trying to catch her. And so she's really, in that sense, actually a quiet bird. So is that a message? Should you be a little bit more quiet and allow this special moment now to sink in? And so the owl is coming and talking to you with actually a 12, right? When we calculate this together, you get the 12, which is the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man is connected with your dreams, with Neptune. And then the 3 is left, the 3 and the 1 again is then a 4. So the 4, the Emperor is talking. The Emperor that is saying, well, I am going out there and I'm showing the world who I am, but now you are not showing the world who you are, because you did that. Now you're going back in and you're showing yourself who you are. And I wanted to see who you are here, who is the owl bringing to you, and you get the 10 of Cups. And the 10 of Cups is literally showing that you have become more quiet, that you have become content, that you have control over your feelings, because the 10 of Cups is Mars in Pisces, right? And Mars is the warrior. Mars is when we have the 4, the emperor. And so Mars in Pisces is like that you did everything to be content, to be happy. And so here the 10 of Cups coming, the women are praying to the water, to the rainbow in this well, for having water, for having the emotional content, right? The emotional satisfaction that is here talking to you. And so the 4 and the 10 creates the 14. And it's almost like talking to you like the Sagittarius moment here. The Sagittarius sun gave you the 14, gave you that fulfillment, gave you that satisfaction, and now you're still feeding yourself off of it, and that's why you can give so much love to the world. Beautiful. Then on the position of the High Priestess comes the Hangman. And the Hangman, like I said, is connected with Neptune. He rules your dreams and your inner spiritual messages. And so you can see here's a lot of information in this Hangman. And he's the spirit of the mighty waters. And you see the Ankh, right? You see here the cross. You see the matter, the square. You see here the arms spread open in a triangle pointing at his head. And here, of course, also connecting with the leg to the fact that, yeah, you are ready to awaken. You are ready to create a deep dive, because now you're going back in, you're going to the left. And so the 12, which becomes a 3, right? And here the 2. The 12 and the 2 is a 14 again, so you have a 14, 14. So again, Sagittarius did that to you. That full moon, there was something happening there for you. And so the 14 is a 5 that's left here, and the 5 is the 5 senses. And the 5 senses are portals, are doors, right, to the outer and the inner world. But now you are called to trust your intuition, called to know that the Hangman is actually here, and that you got the Hangman here through the calculation of the 39, which is a 12 as well. So there's a 12, 12, right? And then a 3, 3. But we have here, of course, the 1. Then we understand here that the 1 and the 10, right, brought you that happiness, brought you an excitement, that you are feeling fulfilled in your heart. And here, of course, you are feeling in your intuition that something is really talking to you, is really awakening you, and is really bringing you back to you. Then on the position of the Empress comes the Emperor. We have here another 4. And the 4 always is the square, and here we see that he's sitting on a square, and when we open the square, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares that creates the cross where Jesus was hanging on, right? And so here you are now ready to be a master, to going back into your subconscious, into your soul, into the new moon. And the 4 and the 3 is a 7. The 7 is then the emotional success that you're bringing to the world, because the Empress is connected with Venus, right? And the Ankh is Venus bound, right? The Ankh is the goddess here that is bringing also the hanged version of the Ankh, right? The head is down and the crossing here again. And so it's really something that you are now recognizing here, the fact that you are awakening, that you are then becoming really an incredible personality, because he's the ruler of all rulers, right? He's the King of Kings. Then on the position of the Lovers, which is in the moon, in your subconscious comes Cancer, the Chariot, the 7, right? And so you have here a 7-7 portal, and that emotional success that you can bring out is because maybe there is also a Cancer in your life that is bringing you love and emotions and a maturity, because the 7 and the 6 is the 13, and the 13 turns into a 4 again, a 4-4 portal, right? And so recognize that that 4-4 portal was here as well, right? With the Magician and the Owl. You have become more quiet and more emotionally mature. That's why you got also here the Scorpio, King of Cups. And so the 13 is a huge transformation, emotional transformation with a Cancer. And the Cancer here is literally saying, yes, we do it. We can do it, right? The 13 that turns into 4 here again. Then on the position of the Knight of Swords comes the Wheel of Fortune, and that was Sagittarius, right? Sagittarius brought you the moon's secret, right? A girl that stood on a stool and was holding the moon in her hand, and she has all these keys, and now you, the 3rd zodiac sign, and the 10 is a 13 again, so we have again a 4. You are really into that 4, right? The 4 is this material awareness that you want to create for yourself, right? And so recognize this huge transformation that the luck, or the Wheel of Fortune, which is connected with Jupiter, and that's why we got like a special moment showing you what is coming here and what is talking to you, right? And so the 4 is left, and 4 is a certain stability. Then on the position of the Devil, right, which is of course in the Sun right now, giving you the light, you getting the 3 of Pentacles, and that's showing your talent, making a success. And of course the Devil is the climbing, is the social status, and creating a success for you. So the 15 and the 3 is the 18, which is the Moon, and the Moon actually brought you here Cancer, and Cancer is ruled by the Moon, and so there's a deep longing, right, to be more emotionally available. And so here as well, right, because this is also quite a deep emotional dive into the subconscious. And so we see now with your own deck the Devil, which is calling you, and so the success, be careful. Yes, go into the success, because the 3 of Pentacles is connected with the constellation Mars in Capricorn. So Capricorn is calling you, Mars again, that I want to be successful, but we also have Mars in Pisces. So don't let go of this. This is really important. This is a beautiful card, right? This is the rainbow. This is like you're happy, not for any success, right? Where you're thinking, oh my God, now I can build something huge. Always remember, everything comes and go, also in the finances, right? But love or emotions, they don't just easily come and go, right? They are built, and if they're built with diligence, and if they're built with love, they stay. And so recognize that, right? So here, of course, you get then a 9, right, calculated together, and the 9 is a completion. You are feeling complete, the 10 to the 9, right? Then on the position of the Moon, which is here bringing you the Dream Oracle, we have the Netcaster, or the preparations come to fruition, the number 42. And the 42, of course, then becomes a 6, but we have the Emperor and the High Priestess creating here the 6, creating here you, right, the Lovers, but also maybe here the Devil, but I feel it's more you, right? Because it's not a 15 that I calculate then into a 6, it's a 6, right? When I calculate this together. So it's for you, a Netcaster. So, and since here came the Cancer energy, right? Which is the water, and which is the emotions. You are going deeper into your emotions and recognizing there is someone, maybe, hopefully a Cancer, right? Because Cancers are so loving and so healing and so soothing, particularly for you, for all this thinking and communication and talking. right? You're gotta see that. Now I wanted to see what is here being coming to fruition, and I see the 7 of Wands coming up, and the 7 of Wands is Mars in Leo. So Mars in Leo is that fighting, is that courage, fighting for what you believe in, fighting for what you trust is good for the whole. And so here in this deck, in the Mother Peace Tarot, the 7 of Wands, which is, of course, the Leo, the passion that the 7 of Wands is bringing, the priestess is challenged by her group to explain her position and defend her leadership. So something is coming to fruition. It's almost like you are now showing your leadership, but because it's reversed, she has a difficult time holding her ground, as anxiety, doubt, and fear may be clouding her ability to stand up for herself. So it's almost like you are, something is coming to fruition that you maybe don't have to stand up for yourself. You don't have to stand here. You don't have to. You just have to let yourself dive deep in and let yourself be found again and again, right? Your position will be questioned all the time. And so if you fight it, right, then maybe you are not really able to connect, because the 18 is the 9. The 42 is the 6. The 9 and the 6 is the 15, is Capricorn, is the social status, is the money, is the climbing, right? And so the 15 then becomes a 6. And the 6 and the 7 is, of course, again, the 13. And the 13 is the huge transformation that you have been going through, right? Because you had the 13 already coming up. And so the 4 is left again. Oh my God, I'm going to have to count all the 4s, right, that came up. I lost count, but a lot of 4s. And so the 4 means take responsibility, take that step to be someone that leads, right? Someone that shows himself, right? Someone that's like, I'm taking that action. I'm not just talking, I'm also taking action. And so I think this is what's coming in here for you, because on the position of the Sun, right, comes here now the time, the understanding, the 41, which is a 5, right? Oh God, right? We have here the 19, which becomes a 10. The 10 and the 5 is the 15 again. So Capricorn is doing something to you. Capricorn is talking to you. Capricorn is letting you know, hey, come and do this. It's good, right? Because we had the 3 of Pentacles coming up, and that's really climbing Mars in Capricorn, right? Climbing up that ladder. But like I said, don't forget your emotions, don't forget your spiritual side, don't allow anything, right? Even here, that Scorpion position here, don't allow anything to bring you away from a deep love, right, that you have. And so the brain is almost like seeing that, and I wanted to see what's happening here, right? And of course we have here the Temperance coming up, right? Your opposite sign, Sagittarius. And so Sagittarius, which is also the 14 again, becomes a 5. And so in a way, it's really amazing, right? You have here the 15. The 15 becomes then the 6, which is you. And the 6 and the 5 is an 11. The 11 is then, of course, a portal, is the inner teacher, is the inner knowing that you are back then in the Sagittarius sun that gave Gemini full moon 6 times 6, right? So the 6, which is you, this full moon brings healing and trust for true joy. And I think you're understanding that now. Something may click in your brain, right? Because the 6 and the 5 is 11, and the 11 again is that teaching. And so now we know why you are looking into this brain. You're looking back at your full moon. You're looking back at that high time in Sagittarius month. And so now you are learning to shift into a new adventure, right? The adventure of climbing, the adventure of learning that you want to become successful, but do not get attached to the money, right? Know that everything comes and go. The Wheel of Fortune is always playing with us. Know that you always have to figure out your position, right? This position is never fixed, right? Know that you hear this magic woman, right? That you are learning to really recognize that some spiritual message is always coming towards you, because you are connected with the owl, and the owl here with Mercury. Mercury, the messenger, is bringing you the message. And so the message is, show yourself no matter what you've been through, right? And so even in that casting, that fruition that is now coming, you are seeing that, yeah, be that empowered personality through Sagittarius, right? Accept Sagittarius challenge. Accept that you will be tested all the time. And it's just part of life. But you know how to work with that. You know how this is a message for you to be out there as the number 3, as that feminine aspect, but also at the same time as the masculine aspect, because the 3 is the Empress, and on the Empress came the Emperor. So the 4 is really talking to you, and I'm going to calculate all the 4s together, right, and hopefully put it in front. But recognize this. Recognize that you are powerful. So I hope I see you in the next reading, because then of course the Earth continues its path and we see behind the Sun the constellation Aquarius. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.